So, getting back to basics, I wanted to do this review on some of my favorite basic WWE figures from Mattel. I feel that there's a lot of bias toward basic figures. There's a lot of elite collectors out there that decide not to engage in collecting basic figures. And I feel that that's such a, I don't know, that's because I appreciate the basic figures, at least the older ones. The newer ones, I can understand why people bypass those, but the original basic figures kind of it's like a throwback to the Ruthless Aggression Jax figures, as they have the same points of articulation. And well, anyway, I feel that basic figure is better as well, because you can't complete a wrestling figure collection without basics, especially when some figures only get released in basic form, because the elite line tends to be a little more delayed in releasing new talent or whatever it may be. If the talent himself or herself is not primary on the program, they don't tend to release them in elite form. And as I go about this review, you'll see some of these figures have never been released in elite form. So let's start here on the left with the Legion of Doom, which is badass. I really like Legion of Doom. Growing up, I was always confused who was who, Hawk and Animal. I always thought Animal was Hawk and vice versa. But I come to have their identities more established. So now I know the one on the right is Hawk and the one on the left is Animal. And these are the basic figures. I think this is the last that they release from Mattel. We are no longer getting Legion of Doom figures for whatever reason. Maybe it's contract or licensing issues. But these two are going up on the secondary market. I got these luckily when Toys R Us was still open. I snagged them for probably more reasonable price than it is now, most likely. But of course, like, secondary market is price gouging on these guys because Legion of Doom are harder to obtain. So these are basic figures, and if you choose to be a elitist and not engage in basic figures, you don't have these, which are like badass. The blue and black attire, you're not gonna get that in elite form unless you customize. And not everybody's into customs, but I do my own customs, so, or fix-ups I should say. But yeah, there's Animal and Hawk from the Legion of Doom. Now this is one of my favorites, Bret Hart Royal Rumble Heritage. I did a head swap on this one and gave him some shades and the fedora jacket. It's just so cool, like. And this is a basic figure. You don't need elite figures to be down. You know, this is like, for me, this satisfies me. This basic figure is like, all right, cool. And I do have elites of Bret, of course, but I don't just specialize in elites. I think if you mix them both up, you're more complete than just having elite figures. So for all you elitists out there who brag about, oh, basics are trash, I don't agree. I don't. This isn't a top 10 or anything. This is just random figures that I thought, were my favorites. So this is Mark Henry, and I really like this basic figure. I remember getting this at Toys R Us as well. There's certain talent that I go for. Like, this Mark Henry is one of my, especially when he had his world title run. I thought that was so tough. Like, that was cool. But Mark Henry has been like he had a long stint in WWE, and I thought he was a good talent. Like, I thought he really bust ass in the ring. He really kicked ass in that ring. So I thought that was cool to collect him in the basic form. And oddly enough, I don't have one elite figure of Mark Henry. I don't have not one. So that's why maybe I kind of pin that figure. Like, I do, like, I use them as, my primary Mark Henry, go-to Mark Henry. Anyway, this is John Cena. This is a fix-up from, I think this is the Survivor Series version of him. And I gave him some arms. Like I swapped the arms with one of his basics, other basics, which has the, the, what do you call these again? The freaking armbands, wristbands, and all that. So I like this face scan. I think that was a one and done. They never did that face scan again. So yeah, that's cool. Like that's a basic figure. You're not gonna get that in the elite line. So now here's a perfect example of a basic exclusive, which you will not get in the elite line, and that's Carlito, who like I really to the I really don't get why he never got an elite. He's been around and he's been primary in the roster. Like he never had, I don't understand how he only had one basic. That's just ridiculous. And it's lucky that he did, because Jeff Hardy himself didn't get released in the Mattel line until what, 2015, 16? When did he return? I think it was 2017 actually. Yeah, 2017. I might be mistaken. You might want to correct me on that. But guys like Carlito and Jeff Hardy weren't released until later. Well, Carlito is the exception because he didn't get released at all, other than this basic. He has another basic figure, and that's the one where he has like a beard or whatever. He has facial hair. So this one is Shelton Benjamin, another one who was a basic exclusive. I think this is the only figure he actually has. I might be mistaken, but I think this is the only Shelton Benjamin figure Mattel has ever released. So like this is a basic figure as well. And yeah, this is Tommy Dreamer. And Tommy Dreamer has only one basic figure from the Mattel line as well. So it's another exclusive to the basic line. And that's why my argument is strong, because you guys claim, oh, the elites are where it's at, but no, not always. Like there's very few gems in the basic line. There's a lot of basics. Basics are like oversaturated, but I understand that part. But there are gems in the basic line, and these are some of them. Roddy Piper is another. This is from the entrance greats, and yeah, this is probably the only Piper that I have. So I kind of like that figure a lot. If I had an elite, I'd probably exclude him from this list. But regardless of what, this is a cool figure. Anything from the entrance grades is cool. As you see here again, this is $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And he has, complete with his entrance gear, his $1 Million belt. So, $1 Million Man, whoa, there goes the domino effect. $1 Million Man had elite figures as well, but I really like this figure, so he's on this list. And I'm just botching all over the place. Yep. See, I try to set everything up nice, and then, it just backfires. So, all right, this is getting ridiculous. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, so this is SummerSlam, Randy Orton, basic, and this is one of those figures that they only did one of these older versions of Randy Orton. I should say younger version, because this is when he was basically new to WWE, and this is one of the few that they did with that, incarnation of him. So I thought that was a cool thing to add to this basic collection here. And here's Cody Rhodes, one of the cool figures that I thought I should add as well. And these two guys were part of the Legacy faction with Ted DiBiase Jr. So that's, these are attires that aren't released in the Elite line as well. So if you don't have the basic version of it, you really missed out on that attire type of thing. So that's why I think the basic line matters. Here's NWO Kevin Nash with the street gear, which was this was a battle pack release with Scott Hall. I wasn't too high on the Scott Hall figure because I thought they used the wrong parts, but this Kevin Nash was accurate, so I added him to this list as well. another basic figure. I think he had an elite release in the same attire, only that his NWO was the Wolfpack red and black attire as opposed to the black and white. So, and here's Jeff Hardy. I think it's a very nice basic figure, but this is a more modern basic, which has more limited articulation. And yeah, this Jeff Hardy is not one of the throwbacks, but I think it's a nice, decent basic. If I had the elite figure, I probably would not add him to this list because I think he has the same attire. There's nothing exclusive about this Jeff Hardy in this basic form because there's an elite figure version of him and it's the same exact attire. Here is the Great Khali, which you could only get in the basic line. So if you decide to just collect elite figures, you're not gonna have a Great Khali, or you're not gonna have a Carlito or Shelton Benjamin. You know, I was gonna say Terry Funk. What's his freaking name? Tommy Dreamer. Here's the Undertaker, and I'm gonna move him up because I did him. I did the review of him in the last video, and yeah, this is the BSK tattooed version of him, and this is the only way you could get that through the basic line. Wow, this figure was probably released in probably 2011, so this is very old. Well, I wouldn't say very old, but it's a throwback figure for sure. So yeah, these are my basic figures that I think matter. When it comes to collecting WWE figures, you can't be complete without collecting basics. I don't care if you're an elite collector, you're not complete. So that argument is out the window. Anyway, later y'all.